It's Friday night, everyone's going out, and something in you quietly hopes they'll cancel. Not because you don't care about people, not because something's wrong with you, but because the thought of your couch, your silence, your space feels more like freedom than any plan ever could. Society has a word for people like you. Boring. Psychology has a completely different one. And once you find out what's really going on in the mind of someone who prefers to stay home, you'll never apologize for a quiet Saturday again. If you've ever genuinely felt happy about turning down an invitation, this video is for you. Here's what most people get completely wrong about this. Preferring to stay home isn't shyness. It isn't fear. It isn't a phase you'll grow out of when you finally become more confident or more social or more whatever the world keeps telling you to be. It's neuroscience. Psychologists call it optimal arousal theory. The idea that every nervous system has a threshold. Some need more stimulation to feel alive, others need less, and operating above your threshold doesn't make you more engaged. It makes you depleted. The world never told you this, so you spent years wondering what was wrong with you. Nothing was wrong with you. Your nervous system was just being honest, and nobody taught you how to listen to it. Picture this. You've been out for 3 hours. Good people. Good conversation, nothing went wrong. And you're exhausted in a way you can't explain to someone who doesn't feel it. That exhaustion has a name. For people with high sensitivity or introversion, every social interaction, even an enjoyable one, costs neurological energy. The brain is processing tone, subtext, facial expression, emotional undercurrents simultaneously, automatically, without pause. Home isn't where you escape people. It's where your nervous system finally stops working overtime. Out there, the world is unpredictable. Loud strangers, last-minute changes, small talk with people who don't actually care about your answer. At home, you control everything: the light, the noise, the temperature, the entire emotional atmosphere. For certain nervous systems, that control isn't a preference, it's survival. Here's something research keeps finding and culture keeps ignoring. People who genuinely enjoy solitude score higher in creativity, introspective depth, and complex problem solving. Staying home isn't doing nothing. It's where the best ideas are born. Not in a crowded bar, not in the noise, but in a quiet corner at 2 a.m. when something you've been carrying for months suddenly becomes clear. Psychologists call this low stimulation preference. These people don't need the world to entertain them. Their inner world is rich enough to do it without any help. Stay with me because the next part is the one most people never want to say out loud. Because not everything here is simple, and I'm not going to pretend it is. Some people stay home for a darker reason. Social anxiety that makes the outside world feel genuinely threatening. A past that made certain environments unsafe. A quiet depression that whispers, "What's the point?" just loud enough to make leaving feel impossible. For those people, home becomes both a refuge and a cage. So here's the question, and I want you to sit with it honestly. Do you stay home because it fills you up, or because leaving feels too heavy? One is peace, the other is hiding, and only you know which one is true. For the people who truly love staying home, they're not missing out on life. They're living it at a frequency most people move too fast to notice. The morning coffee made exactly right. The specific corner of the couch that belongs to no one else. The way light moves across a room at a certain hour. A comfort show that asks absolutely nothing of them. These aren't small things. These are the moments that accumulate into a life that actually feels like yours. Society romanticizes the packed calendar, the highlight reel, the live your best life culture that makes a quiet evening feel like a personal failure. But what if your best life is a documentary, some soup and zero obligations? That's not sad. That's the rarest form of self-knowledge there is. Here are the ways the world is constantly wrong about people like you. Antisocial, boring, unable to enjoy life, always canceling plans, running away from life. But what's the reality? Neurologically selective, low stimulation preference, living at the right frequency, protecting finite energy, building an inner world worth living in. You were never broken. You were never behind. You were wired from the beginning for depth over noise, for presence over the performance of presence, and that is not something to fix. That is something to finally understand. So if you're someone who turns down invitations without guilt, who feels genuinely whole on a solo Saturday, who would rather feel something real alone than feel nothing in a crowd, hear this clearly. You are not missing something. You are protecting something. And the people who have learned to be truly, completely at home with themselves are the rarest kind of people alive. Tell me honestly, do you genuinely love staying home or somewhere underneath it? Do you wonder if you're just making excuses? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And if someone came to mind while you were watching someone who's always quietly preferred their own company and never had the words for why send this to them. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can give someone is the language for what they've always already known. This channel exists to give a voice to the parts of you that the world never bothers to acknowledge. If this matters to you, subscribe, not for the algorithm's sake, but for the version of yourself that has stopped apologizing for who you are. You don't need to be fixed. You need to be understood, starting with yourself.